Hey, what is up, Aquamigos? Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate that. My name's Tobias and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today what I'm going to show you guys is how to make a DIY pond vacuum. Because if you go online and look for actual pond vacuums for sale, they're pretty expensive. They're at least a couple $100. I've seen some go for closer to $500. So I figured out how to make your own for a relatively low price. So check this out. This is what you're going to need. Alright, so in here I have everything that you're going to need. So the main thing that you're going to need is this. Check this out. I have this small pond pump. I bought this a while ago, over a year ago at Harbor Freight. It was around $25 and it's a 250 gallon per hour pump. And what I did is, check this out. So what I did is I opened this up. You could open it just by pulling it off like that. And then on the inside, you'll find this sponge and it's just in there like that. Just take that out. Because if you don't take that out, it's gonna get clogged up all the time. So just take that out, put it back together, snap it back together like that. And of course, you're gonna need some tubing for this. This is a 1/2 inch connection. So I have this 1/2 inch vinyl tubing. I'm not exactly sure how long it is, but I wanna say it's around 20 feet long. And kind of the funny thing is that I bought this pump at Harbor Freight, but for whatever reason, they didn't sell the tubing there. So I actually had to buy the tubing on Amazon. Last time I checked, Amazon was sold out of this, but I'll put a link down in the description below in case they got it back in stock. And then the next thing you're going to need is a bucket. And then you're going to need some heavy duty clamps. I already have some that I use to keep the netting on the top of my pool pond. So you're gonna need some heavy duty clamps like this. You can get a 4-pack of these on Amazon for 12 bucks. I'll go ahead and put a link for these down in the description below. And you're going to need at least one of these, preferably 2. And then lastly, you're going to need some kind of long stick or pole. I'm using this plastic broomstick. It works perfectly for this. And I'll show you how to put all this together. And of course, you're going to need an extension cord so that you can move around with it. And let me just show you guys how you put this together. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach this plastic broomstick to the pump using that heavy duty clamp right there. If you look closely at the pump, right here underneath the vinyl tubing is a plastic fitting, and that's a great place to clamp the broomstick to. So that's what it looks like right there. This is super easy to do, guys. We're already almost done. And then you're gonna wanna take your bucket and put it somewhere near where you're going to be working. And the reason I'm going to say use a bucket instead of letting the hose just let the water out wherever is because we're going to need the extension cord to plug the pump into. And where this is going to connect, the pump to the extension cord, that's just going to be on the ground somewhere, and you definitely don't want water coming out and touching the cables where they're connected. So that's why I think it's important to use a bucket. And I said earlier that you're going to need probably 2 heavy duty clamps. The second clamp is going to be for the bucket, so I'm just going to take this one off right there, and I'm going to put it on the edge of the bucket. So as you can see with the second clamp, I put it over the vinyl tubing. It's not actually restricting the flow of the tubing, it's just kind of holding it in place to prevent the tubing from coming out and spilling out on the floor. So that's the purpose of the second clamp. And I haven't plugged it in yet because just keep in mind, once you plug it in, the pump's gonna turn on, and you don't want the pump to be outside of the water for too long, or else you run the risk of letting it burn out. What I would actually recommend doing is put the whole thing inside the pond first, then plug it in. And then when you're actually using this to vacuum, just keep in mind that the water is going to be sucked through this. So you actually want this part to be facing the bottom of the pond, not the back of it, because you want to pick up the debris from the bottom. And then of course it'll empty all that debris into the bucket. And when I do this, I'm just going to throw some food over here, and I'll kind of work on cleaning that area just so that my fish aren't over there getting in the way when I'm doing this. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you guys a little demonstration right now. All right, check it out, guys. I just unplugged it, and that was just, check out that water inside the bucket. It's like almost pitch black. I have a ton of like muck and debris at the bottom of the pond. I've never actually cleaned the bottom of the pond, and it's been up for, I want to say, close to 2.5 years. So, I mean, this is the first time I'm actually going in and cleaning the bottom. And yeah, as you can see, it works quite well. Look at the size of my shabunkin. He's getting huge. Yeah, guys, so that was pretty much just like 2 buckets worth that I just did. I'm going to have to do this like a lot before I actually start seeing any kind of difference in the bottom of the pond. There's my dojo loach right there. I mean, if you look underwater, I'll try to show you with the GoPro, but if you look down there, you can actually see a little bit of a difference around the edge of the pond where it's starting to get a little cleaner. All right, guys, so what I want to do is I want to do this one more time, and then I want to clean out my filter because it's like long overdue for a cleaning, and that'll pretty much wrap this up for today. Like I said earlier, I'm going to have to vacuum like this like many times until I start seeing a noticeable difference. Alright guys, that's going to be just about all the vacuuming I'm going to be doing for today. So what I'm going to do right now is just go ahead and clean out the filter because it's like has a ton of algae in it. I haven't cleaned it in a pretty long time. I know I've shown that a couple times on my channel, but in case you haven't seen it, I'll show you guys how I do that right now. Alright guys, so pretty much to clean out my filter media, I use that bin right there, and right before I show you this, I just want to show you something. I just checked the parameters of my pond water. So all the way on the left right there, that's ammonia. We are definitely a bit higher than we'd like to be. We're at 0.5. Nitrates, I would say we're probably somewhere between 2 and 5 parts per million. And then actually nitrates, we're doing okay. We're at about 10, maybe 20 parts per million. Yeah, that's actually probably 20 parts per million, which is totally fine. Now, one indication for me to check my parameters was because I noticed a lot of algae growth in the pond. Let me just show you real quick. You can especially see around this piece of driftwood I have here, there's just a ton of algae around it. And that's a clear indication of like an excess of nutrients, whether it's ammonia, nitrites, or nitrates. And there could be a couple reasons for this. One thing is we haven't had a lot of rainfall yet within the past year or so. And usually what happens is, like, usually around this time of year, we'll get a decent amount of rainfall. And then what'll happen is from usually this side right here, we'll get water overflowing. And it pretty much acts as an automatic or natural water change. That's what I call it. And for the longest time, guys, nitrates wouldn't even register on my test kit. And of course, all that muck at the bottom of the pond is not helping either. I have heard stories of muck accumulating on the bottom of ponds, and then out of nowhere, people get like a huge ammonia spike. The other thing is, the stocking of this pond has drastically increased over the past year because, as you can see, I have a ton of baby goldfish now. I have a ton of those rosy red minnows now. Overall, there are just so many more fish than I had before, and I just never had to worry about the water quality because I had a lot less fish in here. And finally, the other issue that I am having now is that because of the amount of algae and debris that my pond pump is picking up, not enough water is able to pass through the filter. And that's actually why I'm going to clean it out right now. Like, look at that. That is nowhere near enough. And as you can see, there's just a ton of algae growing out of there. And that was the next indication that I need to start checking the parameters and making some changes to my maintenance. One thing that I'm probably going to have to do is water changes, which I never had to worry about before, but now apparently I'm going to have to do it. Luckily, when I vacuum, you know, that's taking old water out as well. But yeah, guys, let's just go ahead, clean out that filter. I might end up doing a little more vacuuming, I'll see. But yeah, let's go ahead and clean out that filter. And then I'm actually gonna go ahead and unclog this pump because from what it looks like, there's a bunch of algae like getting stuck in there. So I'll go ahead and clean that out as well, just to make sure that enough water is able to pass through. And judging by our nitrite levels right now, I'm kind of anticipating a spike in nitrates after that. So it's a good idea for me to just start taking care of all this right now. And of course, you want to use water from the pond to clean out your filter media because, you know, tap water will kill off the beneficial bacteria in there. With the actual pump, I don't worry about it too much because there's a lot less surface area inside the pump to where even if I kill the beneficial bacteria in there, there's not really enough to make a difference. Sometimes I gotta tilt this to get all the air bubbles out when I clean out the pump. As you can see, guys, after cleaning out that pump and cleaning out the filter, we have a nice, healthy flow. That's how it should be. Not how it was just trickling away earlier. Because what happens is when the pump isn't getting enough water circulated through the filter, it's not converting all that ammonia and nitrites, and that's kind of the issue that I was having. But yeah, I'll probably do a little bit of that vacuuming like every day. And I mean, after like probably after 2 weeks, we should start really seeing a difference on the bottom of the pond. And of course, the more that I vacuum, the more I'm going to have to fill up the pond because of course, every time I'm vacuuming, I'm taking out water, so I need to put new water back in. And yeah, that is just a lot better. And look at that. That is just from cleaning out the pump. The water is like 100% opaque. Alright guys, so that was my video on my DIY pond vacuum. I hope that helped you out. And before I close out this video, of course, I have some shout outs to the Aquamigos. I have a shout out for Gustavus Johansson, all the way from Sweden. Thank you so much, man, for being an Aquamigo. I appreciate you. I also have a shout out for Joel Shaw. I see you, man. You're watching all my videos. I really appreciate that. You are awesome. Thank you for being an Aquamigo. And finally, a shout out for Caden Simpson. Thank you for being an Aquamigo. I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for all the support. So there's just one thing that I kind of want to talk about before I close out this video, and it's kind of something that like I don't talk about often. Someone's using like a leaf blower off in the distance. I hope that's not too noisy. But one thing that I just want to like kind of talk about that I haven't really talked about much before, but it's kind of like the finance side of like running a small YouTube channel like mine. And I guess the thing I want to talk about is like the direct correlation between the finances generated from my YouTube channel and the projects that I'm able to do. Because I know, at least for myself, I know it might seem at times that my channel is kind of like slow paced. It kind of takes a long time to accomplish certain projects. And that is because, you know, I'm still a small YouTube channel. When you take into account the amount of money that I've spent on like generating YouTube videos compared to the money that I've made from making YouTube videos, I want to say I've probably barely broken even, meaning that every dollar that I've made on YouTube has gone right back into making more YouTube videos. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I just want to like thank you guys who are watching these videos, because every project that I do is in a way directly generated from you guys watching my videos. So that's why, like, being a smaller YouTuber, it might take a little bit more time to generate funds to accomplish certain projects. And in the beginning, like, all the money that like was going into my projects for making videos, or like videos in general, was coming directly out of my pocket that I was like making from working jobs, like regular jobs. And I guess I just want to say that like I'm really thankful to you guys watching these videos, because now I'm kind of in a position where projects that I want to do on my channel can actually be funded by my channel, and I'm just in like a really lucky situation for that to be the case. So to all you guys that watch all my videos, like, it really does make a difference to me. And actually, for like a channel of my size, like, you might see my videos and it seems like for someone who has like over 5,000 subscribers, like a lot of my videos get like a lot less views than you would think they would get. But overall, as like an entire channel, I think, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think my channel like monthly generates a lot more views than your typical channel with just over 5,000 subscribers. And actually my views, my channel views, less than 1% of my channel views come from actual subscribers. subscribers. So to you guys who are watching this who are subscribed, you guys are like a huge driving force of my channel, yet you guys only make up for less than 1% of my overall channel views. So to you guys who are subscribed, I just want to say thank you so much to you guys, because you guys are making like a lot of things possible. And of course, the more my channel grows, the faster I'm going to be able to like accomplish projects and stuff. So if you are not subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it if you did subscribe. That would mean the world to me. And if you want to just hit that bell notifications button so you don't miss any of my uploads. If you did like this video, if you go down there and hit the like button, that really makes a difference. It really like pushes my videos in the YouTube algorithm. So it's really helpful when you guys do that. And I know a lot of you guys do that, so I really appreciate that. And I have some pretty exciting stuff coming up, because now, just wait and see, guys. I don't want to say when things are going to start happening, but I have some pretty cool ideas for the near future. And just really quick, guys, if any of you guys would like a shout out in my next fish video, all you have to do is comment down below. I am an Aquamigo, and I will shout you guys out in my next fish video. I upload new fish videos every Friday. It's kind of random, but on Mondays I upload new microphone and tech reviews, and then Wednesdays are Wacky Wednesdays, where I upload videos on any topic or reviews on any product. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Peace.